We have Angie with us who will share her story. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. So I want to start off saying that I am a proud daughter of immigrants. My parents are from Mexico. And I love a lot of things about my culture, but there are certain things that I definitely do not love, like the machismo. And for those of you that don't know, machismo is kind of like this idea that, the man is, like the tough one that provides for the family and thus should be making the decisions for that family. And women are kind of just taught to be submissive. And I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it, like both my mom's side of the family as well as my dad's side of the family. And even though my mom, who's my role model, I've seen her take some stands against it. They haven't been as radical as like some of the ones I've taken. But most importantly, I saw it in my abusive boyfriend at the time. I was in an abusive relationship, and it was abusive both mentally and emotionally. So I was 18 years old when I found out I got pregnant. And I was going to college. I was a pre-med student, and I was so excited because I was the first in my family to go to college, both on my mom's and my dad's side. But I had a boyfriend who wasn't too excited about it because he thought that me going off to college was gonna present me with more opportunities to meet other men and make me change and perhaps cheat on him or leave him altogether. So he confessed to me that he actually intended to get me pregnant. And when I found out, I knew like right away that I did not want to go on with the pregnancy. But, my family's very religious and we're Catholic, and to them that would have been like a total no. You can't have an abortion because they see it as like a killing of like a baby, which I don't see it that way. And, I wouldn't be able to tell my mom, even though she's a little bit more supportive, because she wouldn't see it that way either. And so there was my support system. And then due to this abusive relationship, I didn't really have my friends with me because I lost touch with them. So I was completely alone. And I remember that, I got the money together on my own. And my boyfriend at the time drove me to the clinic. And on the way there, he kept telling me how God was going to punish me and that I wouldn't be able to have kids. And he even threatened to tell my parents. So when we got to the clinic, in the parking lot, there was the pro-life protesters, and they approached me and they told me, make sure you're doing all your options and everything. And I remember my ex-boyfriend getting so mad and being like, how can they care about this kid more than you care about? Oh. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna push it to the back of my head, just keep going. So then we get into the clinic, and I had to wait what seemed forever. I don't know if it was because I was nervous or because it really was a long wait. But I remember that they printed an ultrasound and they showed it to my face a lot of times, and they told me, like, are you sure? Have you gotten a counseling? Have you told your parents? And they walked me through all of my options that I had. And I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I wanted to go on with the abortion, and I just wanted to get it done. Like, I didn't want to be reminded all the time. And so finally, I get into this room, and they had me in a nightgown. And this room was so small, and it was narrow. And I remember, like, I'm claustrophobic, so I remember feeling like, oh my God, I don't want to be in here. And then I realized that they had a mirror there. And I'm thinking, like, now that they probably had that mirror there to, like, make you do some self-reflection and, like, their last attempt at, like, trying to prevent the abortion. And finally, I was like, okay, like, thank God, like, now I'm in here, I'm gonna get it done. And I was really nervous, so I'm interested in medicine, and I started making comments like, oh, like this and that. And the doctor asked me, he's like, oh, so you're interested in medicine? I'm like, yes, I want to go to medical school. And he's like, oh, good, well, hopefully, you learned your lesson and you'll use protection next time. And at that moment, I was like, wow, like, out of all places, I thought here at least I would be understood because, like, this is a clinic and this is what it's for. But that's not how it was. And at this day, like, I know I did the right choice, and I wasn't in the right mental state. I was in an abusive relationship, and I wasn't trying to raise a kid in those conditions. But most importantly, like, I didn't want to have to do that, so I shouldn't have. And I'm here to share my story today because I think this work is so important. One, so we can get rid of, like, abortion shaming, and so that more people can feel more comfortable to share their stories. And two, like, for other young girls that might be like me or who might know that they need this abortion and don't necessarily have the access to it. And then last, because I think it's important, especially in my culture, that we stop seeing reproduction as such like a horrible and scary topic. You know, like I know a lot of girls my age don't get the sex talk, and my mom was very different in the sense that she walked me through, you know, periods and menstruations, and she really prepared me for that. But when it came down to sex, she just told me every guy is just trying to take advantage of you, so wait until you get married to have sex. And this is the reality, you know. And my boyfriend at the time, he would tell me, you know, oh, if you want to use a condom, it's because you're cheating on me. So I want to, you know, take a stand, use my voice to make a change so that I can, you know, express how hurtful these practices of my culture are. But also, you know, like for my little cousin who's like a sister to me and my little brother, I want to make sure that they know about these things and that nobody ever has to go through what I did, especially like feeling so alone. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story, Angie.
Thank you.
And thank you for shining a light on the stigma that affects us when seeking an abortion. Thank you.